in Korea and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are a returning subscriber, I'm sure you noticed something new, but if you didn't, I'm gonna give you about 5 to 10 seconds, take in everything and see if you can, notice what I'm talking about. That's right, I am finally filming when it's light outside. Okay, yeah, I'm just messing with you guys. Obviously, I took out my braids. We're going natural. My hairstyle could be better today, but I rushed through it because I really wanted to make this video and I have somewhere to be in an hour getting turned up, if you know what I mean. It's a Friday night. So yeah, I promise in future videos my hair will look better, so don't come for my hair. I already know. I already spent an hour stressing about doing these finger curls and it was too much. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is I wanted to make a video about the 10 things that I hate about living in South Korea. And when I say hate, take that with a grain of salt, okay? I'm not like, oh, this makes me hate Korea and I hate the country and wow, I'm so ungrateful to be living here. No, okay? There's about 152 things I hate about America. Actually, probably more than that, okay? These are just things that have really upset me before, have gotten on my nerves, things that are kind of, cons to living in Korea. There's definitely more pros for me, but I already made a video about the things I liked about living in Korea, and granted, that video was only 5 things, but you know what? It's more fun to talk about things that upset you, so here we are. So I'm gonna name the 10 things that I hate about living in Korea and in no particular order. So let's get started. All right, so number 1, the first thing that I hate about living in Korea is Koreans have this thing called Bali culture. Like they actually use this in conversation. And if you don't know what Bali culture is, basically Bali just means like quickly or hurry up, and then they have a culture for it. So basically what that means is Koreans like to get things done as quickly as possible. And you know what? That might be a good thing. Like if I order delivery, it's gonna be here in under 40 minutes, If I order something from Coupang, it's gonna be here in 10 hours. So some things are really great, but some things are just too much. So for example, at work, some people are coming in early, they wanna get things done as quickly as possible. Another example is when I'm on the bus doors open way before the stop comes. Like it's like, get off the bus, we gotta get people in here. When I'm getting on the subway, even if there's not a bunch of people on the subway, people are pushing me onto the subway, like hurry up, you gotta go quickly. Like grandmas will be swiping me left and right.
Out of the way, nobody else matters. All right, you made it.
Getting around me, trying to get in the subway door first. And I'm like, why does everything need to be so quick? I will say I'm a very fast person. I like to do things quickly too, but not that quickly, okay? If I'm getting on the subway, I don't need to run on the subway. If I'm getting off the bus, the door should not be open 30 seconds before my stop. Okay, I'm being a little bit dramatic, but it does open early. Just everything's always happening so fast, and it was definitely something for me to get used to. Okay, the second thing that I hate about living in Korea is clothes don't always have a size. And if you're skinny, great for you. I'm not coming at you. You know what? Everybody has different body types, and that's great. But I am not skinny. Even though I work out every day, a girl like to eat some food, okay? Like I'm just saying, like I like to eat. I'm not a skinny person. I don't think I'm ever gonna be skinny. And I like walking around in America, and pretty much every store you go to is gonna have sizes, whether it's from small to, extra large, or pant sizes or dress sizes. There's always gonna be a size. And so I definitely looked this up before coming to Korea. I knew that they were not going to have my size here really just out on the streets. Like if I'm just walking around to like, vendors or street sellers or things, I'm like, oh wow, look at these cute clothes. I wonder if they have my size. Nope, the size on the mannequin is the size. If you're not the size of the mannequin, well, good luck to you, because you're probably not gonna find clothes at that specific store. And I'm not saying all stores are like this. Like I usually go shopping at H&M, like wearing some H&M things now. I'm even wearing a skirt from there. So if you're going to like bigger brands or some of the stores that aren't, vendors or smaller stores, there's probably going to be a size. If it's a Korean store, you can expect the sizes not to run that big. But it's just really frustrating when I, go to street markets or when I'm in like the underground mall and I just see so many cute clothes and I'm like, I know there's not going to be a size. I just wish Korea would be more accepting of bigger and larger body types. I know I'm a foreigner living here and I understand that, but there are plus size Koreans too, and I know they struggle to find clothes. So that's the next thing that I hate about living in Korea. Okay, the third thing that I hate about living in Korea is the lack of privacy. And what I mean by that is I feel like in Korea, information is just being shared all the time, whether it's at work or school or whatever. It just seems like there isn't much privacy in your life in terms of like, you know, personal issues or things like that. And I don't have any exact examples that I can think of off the top of my head, but Grace, for example, one of the things is like she was doing like online school or whatever and taking Korean class at a university this past year, and sometimes she'd be like, I can't make it to class today. And it wasn't I can't make it to class today, it's like, tell me the exact reason why you can't make it to class today. And sometimes the teacher would be like, oh, is anybody not coming tomorrow? And then like if she were to say like, oh, I'm not coming tomorrow, this is in the middle of class, she'd be like, why? And so then Grace would be like, oh, I have to go to the doctor or something like that. And it's like,
why? What's wrong? Why do you need to go to the doctor?
it's like, can I not have that personal issue? Like maybe my butt itches. Maybe I don't want to explain that to you. Like why do I have to give you every last detail? Or I feel like at work, there's no like secrets. Everybody knows everything about each other. If you tell one person one thing, the whole entire workplace is gonna figure it out. It's been a lot to like deal with, like just having to let go of, you know, the privacy. Like Koreans will just ask you straight up blunt questions, and I'm like, all right, I guess that's just normal here. The fourth thing that I hate about Korea, and this might be the number one thing that I hate, is in bathrooms, it is not always a guarantee that there's gonna be soap or toilet paper. And again, this is another thing that I read about before coming here, but I still forget that I can't just walk into a public bathroom and there be no soap or no toilet paper. It's just so surprising to me, especially during COVID times. I'm like, I feel like there should always be soap in the bathroom, okay? Hand sanitizer that I bring on my own is not soap. I should not have to keep a bar of soap in my purse to go to the bathroom. It is so annoying. And some places that do have soap, it'll just be a bar of soap on the counter that other people are all just rubbing their hands on. Can I not get a nice push soap dispenser? Like why do I have to touch the same soap that everybody else is touching? But even if I see that bar of soap in the bathroom, that's better than the bathrooms that don't have any soap at all. And it is just something that drives me crazy. So not only can I not always guarantee that there's gonna be soap in the bathroom, I also cannot guarantee that there's always gonna be toilet paper in the bathroom. So usually if you're going to like a big fancy restaurant, there's probably gonna be toilet paper in that specific bathroom. Or if you are at a restaurant and you need to go to the bathroom, let's say the bathroom might be outside, usually at the register, they will have like a toilet paper roll. You just grab some toilet paper and then you go to the bathroom. But first, what if once I get to the bathroom, you never know what's gonna happen. What if I need more toilet paper? What if I didn't grab enough? I'm like, you can't just take the whole roll. Like you have to take what you think you need, and that's annoying. I don't always just carry toilet paper in my purse. I've definitely gotten used to it now to just always have tissue or something in my purse in case I do go to a bathroom that doesn't have toilet paper. But I'm like, can I please just not have toilet paper in the bathroom? Like, it makes me so upset. The fifth thing that I hate about Korea is kind of going along with, you know, lack of things that I feel like are necessities in Korea, like toilet paper and soap, is another thing that's very hard to find around here are trash cans in public. I feel like in recent times it's gotten a little bit better, but when I first came to Korea back in 2016, it was next to impossible to find a trash can in public. If you bought something at a convenience store, something like a snack, and you eat it, just make sure you're prepared to keep whatever trash or things come along with that snack in your purse, probably for the next 3 hours until you can find a trash can. And again, I am exaggerating a little bit, but it's just not common to always see trash cans around. There have been times when I eat something and I'll just be holding the trash for like an hour until I can find a trash can, or I'll go to a bathroom which I know will at least have like the tissue trash can where I can put it, or I'll go down to the subway station and throw it in the trash can there. But it's just not common to just be like, oh, here's a trash can, here's a trash can. And it is funny because Korea is a relatively really clean country, so I guess people just keep their trash in their purse until they can find a trash can. But I'm like, can you guys please just put the trash cans back so I don't have to have, you know, if I eat ice cream all over my purse because I can't find a trash can. The sixth thing that I hate about Korea is, this is another thing that really upsets me, is it is so hard to bank online in Korea. It's so hard to buy things online in Korea, and just making an account online in Korea for almost anything is such a struggle. And when I say this is, if let's say you guys know Coupang, so I haven't made an account yet, but Grace made an account and I saw the struggle she went to make this account. And basically In order to make this account, your name has to perfectly match the name on your ARC, and it has to match on your card. You have to have the same phone number that is the same phone number that's associated with your bank account, and just all of these, you know, hoops you have to jump through. You have to get like 2 verification codes and all of these things. Like, you think you're finally done. Nope, another pop-up window comes with another verification. I'm like, how many times you need to verify my name and my number? And I'm like, why does this matter? You guys know how I order, like, my nails are really bad right now, but I order from this company called Ahura Nails, and I love that company. It's impossible for me to order from that company because of the specific card I have. Even though I have a Korean card, I cannot order with that company because my specific bank is not on that company's site. And my bank isn't like unpopular or anything, just everybody's bank in Korea has some form of like online way that you can buy things. And so my specific bank, they don't have for that company, like that company doesn't have a way for me to verify my purchase with my bank. And I'm like, why can't I just put in my card number? It should be that simple. I have a card number. There's money in that account. That's literally all you need is money and a card number. It's just really, really upsetting. I'm like, if I have money on my card, I have a card number, okay? I'm putting in my information. I don't know why I need to verify things 85 times just to be able to buy something. It is really, really frustrating. The 7th thing that I hate about living in Korea is I feel like Koreans will take every opportunity to make something overly sweet. And what I mean by that is if I order a pizza, I'm sure you guys have all heard about Korean pizza, and there are so many variations to Korean pizza, but the one thing I hate the most is I don't want to eat sweet potato crust, okay? I don't want a sweet pizza, okay? I want a savory pizza with some meat and some tomato sauce. I don't want it to be sweet, okay? Another thing, sometimes when we go to restaurants or bars and I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna get me some fries. They're gonna be so good, and the fries come. And you can imagine, to my disbelief, there's powdered sugar on top of the fries. Tell me why there are powdered sugar on top of the fries. I don't understand. And there's powdered sugar on lots of things. It's very upsetting. If I just want some Dorito chips or Pringle chips, you can probably guarantee they're gonna be a little bit sweet. I would like my, you know, savory and sweet to be separated, and I feel like a lot of the times Koreans will put it together. Just separate savory and sweet. We don't need to mix them, okay? The 8th thing that I hate about Korea, and this one might be a little bit more serious, is I hate the way that mental illness is looked at here. So I feel like in Korea, if I'm at work and I'm like, oh, like I'm stressed, like I feel like Koreans understand stress. I feel like that's acceptable to be stressed about something. But if I come in and I'm like, I'm depressed, I have severe anxiety, I have a panic disorder, I have ADHD, I'm bipolar, it's like,
okay, and is that gonna affect the workplace? Is that gonna affect us? Because if it is, I need you to take your depression and your panic disorders, I need you to put them in a box and don't talk about them again.
Like, I really just feel like mental illness isn't talked about as much here. I feel like it's getting better, especially with the recent, sadly, rise in like suicides from like celebrities and things like that. I feel like mental illness is finally being looked at as a more serious thing here, but it's still very new. I feel like Koreans a lot of the time, or not Koreans, I don't want to say Koreans in general, just Korean society, okay? I don't want to like call out Korean people, but I just feel like the way it's handled in their society is you just tough it out, you just get through it, you'll be fine. Like, again, like I said, like it seems like it's okay to be stressed, but don't let that stress affect your work. You better still get your work done or your school work done, like, or haha, pat on the back, why don't you take a day to, you know, rest your body condition and then come back and do it all over again without the problem ever being fixed. And so for me, that's really hard. Like, just finding therapy in Korea is overly expensive. You know, getting medicine isn't always covered by insurance here. So it's just really upsetting. I wish Korean society as a whole was more accepting towards mental illnesses. And again, they're getting better, but it's still, in my opinion, kind of in the beginning stages. The 9th thing that I hate about Korea is the overwork culture here. I feel like in Korea, it's kind of expected that you will overwork if your boss asks you to. You might not get paid extra for it. Like, there have been so many times where I will come in early for work or I will stay late after work. And if my job is not forcing me to do that, I'm not gonna get paid for it. But it's kind of impossible to complete the work in the designated time that I'm given. So the only way I could possibly complete it is if I'm coming in an hour early or staying 2 hours late, which I've done plenty of times to get things done. I take work home all the time, and I feel like it's kind of just expected. It's like, oh, well, I mean, maybe you didn't work fast enough. Like, you gotta have it done by tomorrow, so I don't really know what the solution is. I'm like, I literally work from the moment I walk into my job to the moment I leave my job. I am not sitting down, I'm not playing on my phone, like I'm just working. So I'm like, if I can't get it done in a time frame and I haven't even literally taken a break, there'll be times when I will be like, I'm gonna skip my bathroom time, even though I really need to go to the bathroom, because I just want to get this done as fast as possible so I can, you know, have the chance of leaving on time. And it's just really upsetting. And I'm not the only teacher who did this. Like, I could see other teachers coming in or, you know, staying late all the time. And it's not just my job either. I feel like I have friends who are always overworking, not getting paid for it. I feel like it's kind of expected. If your boss is like, oh, we need you to work on this Saturday, you're like, okay. Like, it's like, you just do it, you don't complain, it's just expected. And if you want to be seen as a good worker, you're not going to complain about it. You're just going to do it with a giant smile on your face, and that's just life. And the 10th thing that I hate about Korea is the high expectations that are just had in almost every way. But what I'm specifically talking about is at school and for children. And it's really upsetting to be a teacher and to just see my kids come to school, and when I get them, they're only 4 and 5, and just be like, oh, I'm so tired today. I have to go to this hagwon, and then after this I need to go to math hagwon, then art hagwon, then swimming class, and this class. And I'm like, why are there so many things for them to do? I feel like when I was in school, it was I go to school, and if I want to pick one extracurricular activity, like that was that. But it wasn't like anybody was forcing me to do it. Like, I've seen so many times, like, kids will be like, I don't want to go to art school, I don't like math class. But it's like, these parents are sending their kids to these schools because in Korean society, it's kind of like, you want your kid to be the best, okay? There's this expectation that your kid has to, you know, be able to do a certain amount of things so that they're seen as being like a really high student or something like that. And then also, especially when they go to like high school and things like that, they have to pass their college entrance exam. And this exam is very, 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 very difficult. And Koreans want to do well on this exam so that they can get into the top universities. And to get into the top universities, like, you can't miss any questions, or maybe you can miss 1 or 2 questions and that's it. It's very intense, it's very insane. And I'm like, I feel like it's not fair to them. I feel like these high expectations are just ridiculous. And also to go to these like universities or get into like special private schools and things like that, it's like, you have to have all these extracurricular activities. You have to be really good at math and science, and oh, if you can, you know, do ballet and swim and piano lessons, that just makes you look even more amazing. And so that's why the parents are sending their kids to these many private schools. And I'm not blaming the parents per se, because I know in Korean society, it's like, you want your kid to go to the best school. You want your kid to have the best opportunities. And so in order to do that, you need to keep up with the competition of the other parents. But I just feel so bad for like my students who come to school exhausted and tired and fall asleep in class and tell me, oh, today's a bad day. And I'm like, oh, why? They're like, oh, after this I need to go to math hagwon, and before this I had to go to science school. And I'm like, wow, you guys are literally waking up at about 7 in the morning and you're not finished with your day until like 8, 9 o'clock sometimes. And I'm like, when do they get to be kids? When do they get to just relax? In Korea, as they get older and this pressure is just being put on them more and more and more, Korean society has one of the highest suicide rates. And I feel like it's not really talked about because it's kind of just pushed under the rug. And I'm like, kids, high school kids, college kids are killing themselves because they're like, I didn't pass the test, or I didn't do as well as I wanted to do. And once you take the college entrance test, and if you don't do as well as you wanted to do, you get one chance to pass that test the way that you want to pass it. And if you don't get the scores that you need to get into the specific school that you want to get into, you have to wait a whole nother year. And then if you don't get the scores you want again, a whole nother year and a whole nother year. Like, people will not even go to college for like 3 or 4 years after high school because they'll just be studying for the exam so that they can pass it, so that they can get into the school that they want to get into. And I'm like, it's just so sad. I feel like it's like they're spending their young years of their life just studying constantly. And when do they get to enjoy their life? So So yeah, I hope you guys liked the 10 things that I mentioned. I know the beginning part was more, you know, not as dark, and then towards the end I was talking about a little bit more dark topics. I got a little passionate about it, but there are things that really bothered me. But let me know if you guys agree with my list, if there's anything, if you do live in Korea, that you really dislike or hate about living here, or you know, if you don't live in Korea, if there's anything you've read about that you have questions about, that you're curious about, just let me know in the comment section down below. But again, as a whole, I really do actually like living in Korea. I think it has a lot of benefits and a lot of pros. If you haven't checked out my things I like about Korea, you can check that out. It'll be in the description box down below. I feel like I pretty much summed up everything that I hate or dislike. So if I only hate or dislike 10 things about a country, I feel like that country's doing pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. As you guys know me, all I do is ramble, ramble, ramble. I'm sure this video is gonna be really long, but if you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. I love all of you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe now. Give this video a like, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.